Hello guys, welcome back to another one with us, the Review Bros, and today we're going to be reviewing a pre-workout by Crazy Nutrition called Intensive Pre-Train. So will it be any good? As we cover the taste, price, label and effects. It's a relatively budget looking pre-workout, but can it still deliver? And if you're new here, please do like the video, hit the sub button, hit the bell icon, because we drop about 3 reviews a week usually. So stay tuned and let's get into this one. Okay, taste and mixability, and we've got the pleasure of trying good old-fashioned fruit punch flavour. So will it be a good one, will it be a bad one? We've whacked it in, given it a stir, so let's give it a drink. And it does also say on here, by the way, ultimate pre-training intensifier. So if that doesn't speak volumes, then I don't know what will. But obviously the label and the effects will determine. But let's see how it tastes. Mixability, not too shabby. You know, about average, a little bit settled at the bottom, generally goes as you drink, but let's see how it actually tastes, shall we? That's not bad, you know. I was expecting a really run-of-the-mill fruit punch, but it's got a bit of a fizz, a bit of a sour kick to it. Definitely got a bit of a unique twist, so yeah, not too bad. I'll have one more sip and I'll give it a little score for you. I'll be happy to give that a 7 out of 10. It's actually not too shabby. And generally, I get a bit sick of fruit punches, so as fruit punches go, it's on the better end of the scale. And it's got a bit of, you know, some pre-workouts when you drink it, you can almost feel the tingling on your lips. It's one of those ones. So will the beta tingles be strong? Seems it might be, but we'll determine that later on. Let's get into a price point. Okay, so what are you going to be paying to get that intensive pre-train experience? Well, you head over to their official website, crazynutrition.co.uk, where you'll find this 30 serving bag on there for £54.99, which I'm going to say just don't buy at that price, guys. And the reason being is because you can get it for £38.49p by simply hitting the subscribe and save button, where you get 30% off indefinitely. You can cancel it anytime, it pops up, it's very easy to see. If you do not do it, you're a bit silly really if you pay 55 quid for this. So we're obviously going to go on that lower price, which you can quite easily get in a few clicks. The £38.49 works out to be £1.28 per the serving, and when you put it on our consistent pre-workout pricing scale, it comes in at a 7 out of 10, where a 5 out of 10 is considered to be a bang average price point. So it is definitely priced better than your average pre-workout if you subscribe and save. You know, like I said, I simply wouldn't even entertain it at £54.99. So yeah, let's see what sort of pre-workout we're getting for that money. We'll look at the label, we'll look at the effects, we'll work out if it's right for you. Stay tuned. Okay, let's get into the label of this crazy pre-workout. Is it as strong as it looks on the front? So 20 grams is the serving amount, which isn't too shabby. It's definitely above what you would typically see these days. I'd say the average is probably about 15 grams. So for whatever that's worth, we've got a bit more material here. So we've got a bunch of vitamins up the top: vitamin C, B6, iron, B3, B1, B12, all general bodily function, health type things. It's going to help you tick over optimally, you know, give your body the vitamins and things it needs to get a gym session done effectively. So we'll always take it, but it's not going to be anything ever super noticeable in a pre-workout. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this formula. We've got ourselves citrulline malate 2 to 1 at 8 grams. So definitely a solid dose, you know, absolutely enough to get the job done in terms of bumping up nitric oxide levels, getting the blood flow moving, you know, increasing your pumps, increasing nutrient delivery, pushing the blood around the body, the staple pump ingredient that we love to see. Then we've got beta-alanine, another juicy dose, 3.5 grams, above the normal of 3.2. It's that amino acid that's responsible for the itchy tingly sensation when it kicks in, so a lot of us love it, some of us hate it. It does also help with endurance when it builds up in your system and you reach that saturation point, which we hope to one day or another. Then we've got taurine at 2 grams, which again, another respectable dose. Normally only see about 1 gram, so double the norm. It's another amino acid, a bit of a jack of all trades in the sense that it helps with your energy production, your focus, your pumps, electrolyte balancing, all good stuff like that. So it's always good to have in a pre. Then we've got KSM66 ashwagandha, which is a decent form of it, might I add, at 300 milligrams. So the doses have dipped a little bit here because I believe the general recommended amount is usually around the 500 to 600 milligram mark, but don't get me wrong, 300 should still do something. That's an adaptogen, so it's going to help to focus you, calm you. It's going to help to improve sleep, testosterone production. It's going to help to sort of take off the edge off stimulants, not in an acute sense, but more in a, as you take it over time kind of sense. It's going to help your central nervous system recover from all the stimulants that you may or may not be abusing. So it's usually a bit of a strange ingredient to see in pre-workouts. Normally it's something that you might see in a test booster, a sleep aid, a general health supplement. I usually take it. I've had a little break recently from it, but I would usually take it most days. There's actually memes going around ashwagandha. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but they reckon that anecdotally that it suppresses your feelings. There's memes of like someone winning the lottery and they've got like no reaction, and it's like because I took ashwagandha. So I don't know, I've never really found that myself, but I'd be interested to know you guys below, you know, have you had any effects like that where it just completely numbs your feelings? Seems a bit crazy to me. But yeah, anyway, we'll see how it comes together. Then we've got caffeine at 200 milligrams, which is a very typical dose in terms of it's around the energy drink level of caffeine. I believe most energy drinks are anywhere between 150 milligram up to 200 milligrams. So it's on the top end if you want to look at it as an energy drink. In terms of a pre-workout, we're definitely falling a little bit short because I would estimate the average caffeine amount of a pre-workout these days to be probably 325 to 350 milligrams if you want the specifics. So in here, we're getting ourselves about an energy drink level, a couple of cups of coffee worth of caffeine. It's ample energy, will wake you up, should give you energy for a good few hours if you're not completely caffeine insensitive. Then we move down to N Extra, 100 milligrams. A nice little top up in terms of it's an ingredient that's going to bolster up the effects of caffeine to further enhance the energy and focus benefits. And then we wrap off with piperine, which is black pepper extract, 10 milligrams, double what we normally see. It's going to help to absorb all of these ingredients and get them through you as quickly and efficiently as possible. So actually, you know, as cheap and budget as it might look on the front cover, it's not the worst label actually I've ever seen. It's screaming daily driver vibes to me. Low stim, respectable pumps, respectable beta tingles and endurance. Yeah, it could do with a little bit more, but like I said, I've seen worse, so just how will it translate in the real world, in the gym, because that's what really matters. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk the real world effects with this intensive pre-train, pre-workout in the several times we have used it. Starting off like we always do with that beta alanine. It's in here at 3.5 grams. We have the digestive aid at 10 milligrams. It kicks in hella strong. I'm gonna say 8, 9 out of 10 on the tingle scale. It really does get you fired up, like genuinely pins and needles down in the body. So it gives you that sense of urgency to get moving, which is kind of like a placebo effect because it gives you the illusion of stimulation to really, like I said, get moving. You don't want to sit still. It's go time. You know the pre-workout's kicking in. Most people love that feeling, especially us. Which is just as well, because all we've got in here other than, well, I say other than, as the main stimulant really, is the caffeine, is 200 milligrams. So, like I said, energy drink level caffeine. Without that beta alanine, I really do think it would struggle. Don't get me wrong, 200 milligrams of caffeine is not a low dose in the grand scheme of things, it's just a low dose in the grand scheme of pre-workout things. Most people are going to feel it unless you're a bit on the caffeine insensitive side, you know, if you've been around the pre-workout block, if you take them most days, if you take higher stim ones. This, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, would be perfect for beginners though, or even intermediate people. So like I said, beta alanine, very strong, thumbs up. Caffeine, 200 milligrams, comes in very smoothly and slowly, feels similar to an energy drink level of caffeine. Last Literally, guys, 2 hours and then it's gone. No crash, no pink, no troughs, will not disturb your day, will not keep you up all night unless you're super sensitive to caffeine, won't make you miss meals, you know, won't appetite suppress you, doesn't give you a bad time, doesn't mess you up, isn't inconsistent. There's none of the nasties with this pre-workout when it concerns the stimulant. So if you are after something like that, obviously it's a positive. If you're after the crazy strong ones, which you might expect from a pre-workout company called Crazy Nutrition, then you might be disappointed. So I don't know, I've seen this before where like I kind of feel like these brands need to market themselves correctly, because at a glance, you know, you see the hazardous looking bag, you see the word crazy, you see the word intensive, you see the word ultimate pre-training intensifier. You're kind of expecting something to slap you in the butty and set you off for like a ride to the moon, but this is quite the opposite of that, isn't it really? So if anything at all, my advice to these guys right off the bat would be perhaps adjust your marketing or adjust your formula and make it live up to the crazy marketing, because yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's one of those things about setting people's expectations off correctly. So far, beta-alanine, fantastic. Energy, very, very average. Just depends what you're looking for. Focus, there's not really much there other than the caffeine and the N-extra, and I guess you could argue the taurine to a certain extent. So again, very, very middling, if not slightly subpar focus. Pumps, however, were on the good side. I would say they were slightly better than average. Because it's a lower stim one, it doesn't have you stimmed out of your brain, so you're able to focus on that mind to muscle connection and really work up the juicy pumps with this one. But again, they weren't crazy. You know, they don't live up to that intensive, ultimate, all the words on the front kind of catchphrases, but they were respectable. So I would say pumps, slightly better than average. I would say energy, average, and I would say focus, slightly below average. But beta-alanine, right up there, top of the scale in terms of like the stronger end of how you would feel them in a typical pre-workout. So overall, I do think it's a good experience in the gym. You know, if you don't look at the label and you just take it blindly, you have a good session. You know, you'll be like, I'm feel this pre-workout, you know, I feel fired up, good energy, respectable pumps, let's get it done. But if you know what the label looks like, you kind of put yourself in a bit of a downer because, you know, you're missing a few ingredients, some things could be better, some things could be at a higher dose. So again, with the whole managing your expectations kind of side of things, falls into a label as well, doesn't it? So yeah, I mean, it's ticking all the boxes, but it is just ticking them. It's not exceeding anything, it's not crazy, it's not off the charts, it's not something I go out of my way to recommend, but I do think it'll be fine for beginners, fine for intermediates. Obviously stim junkie, no. People that take your training super seriously and want a stacked pre-workout where you're going to get, you know, unrivaled focus and endurance and pumps and things like that. If you're an elite level athlete, like I say, no, there are better things out there. But on the flip side, I don't think they're ripping you off either if you do subscribe and save. I think that's probably about where I'd want to be paying for a serving for this pre-workout. So yeah, I guess if you're on a bit of a budget and you want something quite low stim and basic, then again, that would be fine for you. So if I'm to say buy it, shortlist it or avoid it, I would say it's not bad, so I wouldn't say avoid it. It's not incredibly good, so I wouldn't say buy it. So I would have to say shortlist it if you're a beginner, you're on a bit of a tight budget, and you're after a basic pre-workout to set you off, get you going, you know, dip your toes in the pre-workout world. I think that this would be perfectly fine for you. And do you know what? I'd be happy to take this moving forward on the less crazy days, you know, like a quick arm or shoulder day, something like that, where I don't want anything too nutty.
Savage pumps in the gym and the bedroom. Wolf pump.
So yeah, I think I've spoke about everything I need to with this one, guys. You know, with these more basic ones, there's not too much to say, is there really? I guess you could kind of touch on the ashwagandha and say if you're going to take this daily, you'll sort of build up the benefits of that down the line, but I guess similar can be said to beta-alanine, really. But yeah, I mean, that is a positive, actually. This is one that you could genuinely take every day with only 200 milligrams of caffeine, and you could even have your coffee in the morning, a cheeky little energy drink there, and you wouldn't be pushing your caffeine levels to overload mode and further. And actually, what I will say again on that caffeine point is it's quite rare to see pre-workouts around 200 milligrams. You don't generally see companies releasing pre's with less than 300 these days. So it's sitting in that little niche area where like it could actually appeal to some people, you know. But But yeah, guys, like I said, I really don't think there's much more to say on this other than there's no negative, so that's always a good thing for us. It's not an incredible pre, it's not a terrible pre. I'd just put it in there, okay, fair enough category, if that's one, I've just invented it. But yeah, let us know if you've used it, which I've got to be honest, I doubt you have. But if you have, let us know down below your thoughts. You know, what do you think of this pre-workout? Would you buy this one? Would you train on it? Is this too basic for you? What else do you want to see us review on the channel? You know, all of the usuals, chuck them all down below. But yeah, as always, stay stimmed. Mildly on this one.